Homage to Shakyamuni Buddha and our Master Yongho. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming to our morning Saturday meditation session. So how was your sitting? Was it painful, no pain, so? The mind is clear, or too sleepy? How were you sitting? Yes, number 2, please.
Emitofuo, Master. What I noticed is that there was a lot of things in my mind that it wanted to resolve, but they were not mine. Some belonged to my father, another one to other people, and sometimes when I find out that, it's not for me to resolve, one thing that I do is like, it's not mine, it doesn't belong to me, things like that. But because there are coming those thoughts, then my head feels kind of like pressure, because I am kind of deleting something, kind of like from the drive per se in the mind. And then I feel tired. But there's part of me that feels lighter, because I don't have to resolve anything. They're not mine. Those things are not mine to fix. I don't have control over them. Is that the right? I wanted to ask that question. This is the second time that it happens to me, and then I feel like tense and I feel like pressure, even though as I am deleting them, or maybe that's a lot of work that I am doing. Maybe I'm doing it wrong, but after a while, I notice that there's no more things to resolve, so then I can actually meditate. Like I can go to, I don't know how it happens, but it's just like I go to a different place and then I am at peace. But I have noticed that. So I don't know if I am doing it correctly. Is that the way to do it? I do not know. But because of the tense and the pressure that I feel, so I wanted to know if that is normal, if that is what I'm supposed to do. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Master.
Yeah, thank you for speaking and sharing your experience. So anyone experience the same thing? The tense, the pressure in the mind? Can you feel that? And to me, I experience the same thing. Feel pressure in the mind, and yeah, it mostly I'm not sure what kind of word we can use to describe it, but this like there's something unpleasant that comes to us, right? And then you said you delete it. How do you delete it?
Once I say, it doesn't belong to me, for some reason it kind of goes away and it doesn't come back ever. Like I have noticed that. So that's what I call deleted, because then it's not of my concern. I am not worried about it, or I'm not even thinking anymore about it. So it feels like it gets deleted. Even if I go home, I don't have to do anything. The only thing, so that is actually good. I do like that part. The part that I was, it's just the pressure. I think for me I'm changing something, or something is happening that's maybe the work that I'm doing, or the brain that is doing, or is being hacked in a sense, and it's like, oh, okay, so it's work, like delete, and then I don't have to really worry or, like I said, or do anything. So, and then it doesn't come to me after that. But I was just noticing that process that I go through, and yeah, I don't know if, like you say, if other people go through that, that is the normal thing, because I have never asked Master Yongwat about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on how we look at it. It can be like someone we owe before, and then they come and asking for our payment to pay them. That can be that way, or just like a total stranger, like you said, you recognize not yours, and then it's disappear. Or it can be someone who needs help from us, right? It's possible. So if it's a total stranger, so it's easy. You recognize it, and then they don't come back to you anymore. So, but then other will come. Another stranger will come, right? Or yeah, so you do the same thing. So you get the same technique. Recognize it's not yours, and so it's go away. But then, so we have two cases left. So the first thing is someone who we own to and we have to pay. So I guess that kind of pressure doesn't go away. To me, it's not the pressure. It's not just in the mind. In other part of the body also have the pressure too. It's not just the head. So I believe that some kind of debts we have to pay back. So how do we pay back? Anyone have any pain in the body? No one. Everyone's perfect. So how I have no choice by endure. I have not. Then we just accept it. Sometimes we feel afflicted, feel bad, and feel sad, and feel unfair. Why we have to endure in this, right? Some that kind of thought. If it's overwhelming, and then we have those kind of thought appears in our mind, right? But then this our karma, and enduring is, of course, we pay. I hope we are paying back by enduring, but sometimes we have to endure. I feel it's very long. We endure some kind of pain in part of our body. It can happen like years. So are we paying it back or not? We don't know. We don't even know. We don't have the wisdom to know. We just say that, oh, it's still there. Does it happen to you?
I personally, like these 2 times that I noticed that, I don't feel pain. Only the pressure that it comes. And then once it finish, like, then that's it. It kind of like, I feel the relief, maybe the lighter. And then I'm like, oh, okay. And I just continue meditating, and then I can actually feel or experience other, it's like the emptiness, and there is silence. There is this peacefulness, and then I'm okay. It is fine. And that's what I actually like. These 2 times I noticed like it's kind of like if you empty something like that. So it's good. It's just that for a minute, I feel like if somebody's like pressing.
Pressing you down like you. Like it's physical. It's not like something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's physical.
Oh.
I feel the way you just like maybe you're strong. You don't bend your head down. But I just bend the head down.
Yeah, I feel like if somebody like if is the pressure, and I'm like, oh, what is this? Because I'm staying straight, so it just feels the pressure. But then I'll keep on going like, oh, that doesn't belong to me, or things like that. So I just continue, but I keep how it's being like pressure, and then I feel that tense because now I'm like trying to just. I usually don't pay attention. I'm pretty sure it has happened other multiple times. It's just that now I am more conscious of it, and it just came the opportunity for me to ask, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. So let's say that now you have the strength and the awareness of saying, oh, that's not me. But if at a time, let's say that we are talking about the second case, right? That's our karma, our retribution. Now we have the strength to say, oh, it's not me. And it's bother you a little bit, and then it get tired too, right? They get tired like we get tired too. So it stop bothering us for a moment. But then the death is, maybe it's still there because they keep coming, and then, now maybe it's not applied to you, Martina, but then in common, I'm just saying in common, in general. So then when we become sick, we don't have the strength to say that, or we don't even aware of that. So what do? We don't resolve. We have nothing to, and then our time come eventually, and then so we have to somehow to endure that kind of suffering more, right, longer, if it's not resolved.
Yeah, Master, now that you are asking, so there are times that I identify that, I did that. Like, for example, it comes to me like a certain behavior or a certain thing that I did, and I realized that, I was wrong. I did this. Like, I noticed that. Like, when that happens, so some of the things that I have done in the past, for example, the other time, it just came like to repent during the lecture, and that's what I did. Even though I was like, how am I going to repent to that in front of the public or things like that? But that's what it came to me during the meditation. So I remember I did that, and then after that, I was able to even cross my leg. For me, it's really, really difficult to cross my leg. It is very painful, and sometimes it is even impossible because of the lower back pain. But that, for example, that happens when there's other times that I know I have to repent. I have to either recite a mantra, or I have to bow, or when I see there is something really, really big, I get to buy a plaque or things like that. It has happened other times, and I actually go through the physical pain. But then how Master has told us to kind of like swallow it, endure it, go through it, just like accept it. So that's what I have done. But I guess on this case, I was being mindful that, these things are not mine, but I still feel the pressure. and I didn't know if that was correct. But also it makes sense when you say that maybe they're asking for help. It's just that sometimes maybe it's just too many at the same time for me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, it doesn't belong to me. And it's my time kind of to, I think because I cannot resolve it because it's not mine. And so that's when I'm like, it's not mine. And then it feels like emptying. Then I feel that, relief, silence, and then that peacefulness. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. Jesse, you want to say something?
I definitely have similar experiences to that. I do feel it often in my body, though, like certain pressures. And one thing I've noticed is, for instance, like sometimes there's like the only way I can describe it is like an incredibly strong emotion that's like trapped in the body somewhere. Sometimes anger, sometimes like sadness, sometimes like just different things. Mm-hmm. And sometimes there are certain thoughts associated with it where like, say you'll feel like a deep anger and you almost will see flashes of like the moment that caused it. And what's started to happen to me is if I just like reach a point where first the mind tries to argue with it, like because it's very uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And then you reach this point at some point where you just go, okay, fine. Like just go ahead and say what you need to say. And then the emotion will just kind of run its whole course. Oh. And I find like after the emotion has sort of run its course and you let it sort of have its peak where it just overtakes you and then it dissipates. After that, there's that moment of calmness where there's like nothing, right? On a side note, one thing I found interesting is I used to do this for between 1 and 2 hours a day for months and months every morning, where I would wake up and just sit there and allow like whatever thoughts wanted to come, whatever emotions wanted to come. And it would have those same things, those peaks and then resolution. But what I would notice is some of these, like particularly anger and sadness, I would feel it in my chest and it would start to move and I just like couldn't get it to dislodge. And up until sitting in full lotus, it's interesting, maybe it's because there's just more energy flow, but with full lotus, I can feel after like an hour 20, an hour 30, that all of a sudden the energy's enough that it can move the whole emotion. And before, I just didn't have enough energy to move the emotion out, if that makes sense. Yeah. But that's been my experience. Kind of the same, but the pressure tends to be more in my body than in my head. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Jesse, for kind of similar experience. But then, I have one question. So when you said then some kind of emotion like it's capture you, right? And what is your reaction at that time?
It does capture me. Like I can sort of tell when it starts to rise up, and there's always, it's gotten less over time, but there's always some agitation or how would I say, like resistance from the mind, because it is an incredibly uncomfortable experience sometimes. And there's sometimes the mind just like doesn't want to go through it. So that's usually the reaction. My mind usually does not want to touch it. But then eventually I just accept that it's going to happen. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yes. Yeah, I think that the way Jesse does it, it's passively, it helps because you don't use much of your strength. You're just aware of that and you accept it. So to some practitioners, they do that way because they said that because it's as I said before, now we have the strength. Let's say we feel the mind is distracted and we feel uncomfortable. We recite mantra. Now we are in the good condition to be able to do so, but it's not always the case. So, being accepting those kind of challenging is without reaction. That is Master have been talking to us, right? So, yeah, of course we have different way to deal with that. But we are aware of one of the effective way to do it. Yeah. So I don't have the wisdom to see when we endure that, actually are we resolving the karma or not? I don't know, because it keep coming. We don't know the answer. So why we keep doing that? Keep enduring. We don't know it's resolved or not. So why do we have to endure? Peter, please. Number 5.
Thank you, Master Z. My taxes aren't going to pay themselves, so I'm still going to owe taxes, so I got to endure.
Okay.
And I think for me, what's been wonderful is when I feel the pressure that Martina and Jesse are mentioning, when I feel that release, it doesn't feel like I'm enduring anymore. It just feels like I just kind of am being. So it's not the same struggle. It's not like mile 25 of a 26.2 mile marathon. It's just kind of being. So it's nice.
So do you mean that you don't experience those kind of the painful or the pressure inside? Or I please clarify that. I didn't get that.
Sure,
So,
I can clarify.
Yeah.
I definitely have a pain in my left hip for many years now. It's always there. It's like my best friend.
No.
Shows up for me.
That's what you mean. So, okay.
But then also during the Tuesday night mantras, I think I might have shared this with you, or I think kind of during the beginning of the mantra session, I would feel like a pressure on my head, kind of like you don't realize you're wearing a football helmet, and then suddenly you feel the weight of the football helmet on your head, and then through the hour or so mantra session, the weight of the helmet goes off my head, like it dissipates. And I think you or Hung or the old monk, I can't remember, had said that's the negative energy clearing up from your head. And what happens, and Jeannie can tell you this, she can verify, almost every time that happens, then the next thing during the mantra class is some big work problem I'm able to solve or have a breakthrough. And during the mantra class, I'll either someone will text me and I'll have a problem get solved during the class, or I'll write something down that solves a big problem that's been kind of built up and blocked for a week or 3. And so I don't think I'm wise enough to know, but I kind of feel that it might be karmic obstructions are getting removed so that I can then progress, if I had to describe it clearly.
Okay, yeah, at least we feel better afterwards, right? Less afflicted.
Definitely.
Yes. So we still go back to to the question. So why do we have to endure? We've been doing that, right? We endure a lot. I think. But so, what you feel beneficial, or something else, and what helped you continue to do it? Yeah, number 2, please.
Personally, Master, I think because somehow we actually feel a relief, and there are some things that they just don't come back. And then, for me, I attribute it to the cultivation. So whether may not be resolved on that time when we bow for that specific thing, eventually, I think I do have faith that, it will something. It will be taken care of somehow. I think once it doesn't come and hunt you or is not bothering you anymore, so then you realize, like, there are things that I may not notice that they got resolved, but then here comes 3 months after, and I'm like, actually, that is kind of gone.
3 months after? Wow.
3 months after, a month after. Sometimes some things is taken more than that. So some of them, they're like a week or 2. Like, it really depends. But because of those things that I have seen that has worked, so I just continue. And I know cultivation somehow is working for something that maybe I'm not even aware right now, but eventually it will show up. And then because I have been doing it, and I think it's also part of the cultivation that it allows me to see, like, hey, remember this, or for me to even notice something in me, or as well to become aware that something doesn't belong to me, what belongs or what doesn't. So I think it's also part of the cultivation that allows me to become aware of it so that I can actually do something about it. So that's the reason that I keep on doing it. Yeah. And I notice as well, specifically on my mental, psychological, and my physical wealth. So that, I guess that's what I continue doing it and enduring it. And regardless of how painful, like, how we did the Imperialian repentance, I thought I won't be able to do because of it's just gonna tackle me down completely. First day, second day, it was really hard for me. But then I noticed that as I continue, my body was getting healthier in a sense. I know by the end of the retreat, I anyways end up falling down to the floor and not being able to walk. But inside of me, something was resolved. I do not know yet what it was, but I do feel somehow healthier, even though I still cannot. It is still difficult to bow, to sit, but for some reason I feel healthier, and I don't know how to explain that. My brain is more at peace, and there's less things that I really worry about. And the things that it comes, like, how I had to go through the immigration thing. And I know other times I will be in complete stress that I wouldn't be able to sleep, but I was able to go through that. And I remember even going to my appointment, and even the energy felt, I was happy. I don't know how that came, because I always picture myself on that day, I'm going to be freaking out, I'm going to be afraid, I'm going to be concerned. And then some things that I heard the day before that is still happening inside the immigration courts, I would have been like freaking out because I'm Hispanic. But I was at peace. I actually even called my dragon to be with me. So all these things, I think I endure because of the results, because of the relief, because the emptiness that I feel, and then also the good kind of positive feelings, that peacefulness, serenity, emptiness, and like there's no worries or things that it's like life becomes I want to say better in the sense of peacefulness. There's not much to carry in my mind, so that's what I keep on enduring it. Actually, I push myself, and I may cry and I may nag about it, like, oh, that's too painful, oh, that's too tight, oh, that is too much. But inside of me, there is somebody that knows that, okay, that's the way out. That's the path. That's the door. That's what I do it. Yeah. Thank you, Master.
Thank you. Yeah. Hopefully you can be able to do it more and more.
Thank you, Master.
Yes, number 5, please.
Thank you, Master Z. Still, to this day, I still have a lot of problem with sitting. I think it has to do with my complication, the health issues that I'm having, but still, I'm having sometimes I can't even barely do 1 hour. But you asked question, why do we endure? I think there are many factors, but I think one of the is that to improve myself. I think that's it. I mean, not that's it, but that's one of the many factors, so that if I improve myself, I'll have less fight with my husband. that makes my life a little easier to get by.
Okay, thank you. That's a very good reason to endure. Totally agree. Yes, number 6, please.
Also, I've noticed part of the reason that I endure is I've come to a better understanding of why it happens and that it must happen. And I'm always very hesitant to use the term wisdom because I don't have any. But there is sort of an inherent wisdom in like understanding that it needs to be done, and also that now we're capable of enduring it. Because I remember when I first came to the temple, I was like sitting right there, and Brady was right behind me. And Master looked right at Brady, and Brady was having a hard time crossing his legs. It was prior to his surgery, I think. And Master says, if you can't cross your legs, because he was really struggling, he's like, go sit on the bench, because here we accord with conditions. And at the time I was like, screw that. Like, I don't want to, like I come from a world of like trying to push through things, right? And like essentially ignore them. And then in my time here now, I understand more like, oh no, like when certain things come up, we are meant to endure them and accord with the conditions in a certain way. So I feel like now I just have a little more grace in those situations where when things, for lack of a better term, when they suck, like I can just be like, okay, well, right now things are just supposed to suck, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, so you think that when our leg pain is too much, and then we go to the bench and sit in there, that's we are enduring.
Yeah, his was like I think that he had like he wasn't able to sit, but he kept trying, and Master was like, it's not.
Yeah, it's good.
No, I remember I'd be like, oh, I thought we were supposed to just like, almost like in my head, it was like I thought like cultivation was almost seen from the outside, like we're just trying to ignore all the things we're going through, and it's like, oh, it's the exact opposite. Right.
Okay, thank you, Jesus. That's deep. Yeah, to me, I believe that when we do that, we endure that, as Jesse said, we have the belief that we can do that. That's important, right? In our practice, we need that to encourage our own self in the difficult time. I think when we endure, then and we actually endure, then our mind, it will complain less, right? That's actually enduring, but the mind keep complaining, that's not much enduring. That's why I think. So if we keep enduring, then we get used to it, and then the mind hopefully is complain less, and then it's less scattered, right? The mind less scattered when our endurance is increased, and to one point I heard about master teaching that where there's one kind of endurance that's called endurance of non-production, right? So if we get to that point, so our mind really focused to one point, it doesn't scatter anymore, and then we can break through whatever the obstruction is. So to me, that's why we endure. Of course, we have to go through the short endurance and longer until one point we can reach that point. But that because during the process we have some kind of belief that we can do it ourselves, at least for the small step, and then we can do a bigger step, and then we can see the non-production of the thoughts, and then we experience that, and then it works for our endurance. That's what I think. It's number 5, please.
Thank you, Master Z. I'm curious, why do you choose to endure? You do something every day I can't imagine doing for 15 minutes. Why do you do it?
Sometimes it's our choice, because the choice is that direction. Like, for example, to me, like being a left-home person, so part of our life is we have to go through those kind of suffering, right? And then because that's our choice originally, but then sometimes it's too much, but then we want to continue to that kind of direction, so we have to endure. No other choices. That's like we go through that way, and we have to experience those things. So we have no different choices. For times I have to experience that, but then afterwards, and then things get better. So it's not always like tough that we cannot endure, but then of course we fail a lot of time to be able to go through that. Yeah, that's I think that's for it applies to most cases. I have to endure. Yeah. Yeah. Number 2, please.
Master, I have this, I don't know if it's attitude, approach, or idea, but it's like either I push myself or life is going to push me, and it's just going to come and crash on my face. So for me, it's like just keep moving forward, just continue. Because if I don't do it and I stay idle, I know it's just going to come and hit me right on the face. And even if I am cultivating, it may still do that. But for some reason, it feels like I'm better off doing that than not doing it. Yeah. Either I do push myself, or life is just going to come and crash me. So that doesn't sound very good to me. Yeah.
Yeah, right. It can come anytime when you're idle. So we deserve suffering, right? When just kidding. But all the time we try so hard, but it still come, and we feel overwhelmed. We feel, oh my, it's not fair. We try too hard, so why it still come? But actually, at those times, if we can continue, then it's a time for improvement. Yeah, that. Number 5, please.
Thank you, Master Ji. Can you please elaborate for the, you mentioned something about endurance of non-production.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Okay.
Elaborate that for me.
I think in this case, Master not said more non-production. That means no thoughts arise when you endure that. You don't complain anymore. You just simply accept, and even don't have a thought of I'm accepting something difficult. Yeah.
So, Master Z, does that mean like if I have a chore to do, I just I don't complain. I just accept it. No outflows.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think my wife likes it. Okay.
Yeah, number 3.
Please. Just do what your wife wants you to do. Thank you, Master. I don't see any choice but to endure. I think before I met Master and started learning how to cultivate, I now have a chance to look back on all those years, and I usually don't reflect about how life used to be, but sitting here and listening to everyone talk, it's given me the time to think back of the way life used to be for me. And it's not that really life has gotten easier, because life actually has become more complicated now with my mom getting older. I spend almost a week every month up there with her, and everything else that goes on in life. You know, that's just one thing, but there are many things that are going on. But it's almost like I don't fight it. I just accept this is just my life. And what helps me do that is my cultivation. It's not perfect, and I'm not perfect, and sometimes I get frustrated, and I don't know what else to do. But because I cultivate, I just say, okay, this is just another day. And doesn't matter how many times my mom calls me and asks me the same question. Did we pay that bill yet? Yes, Mom, we paid that bill. When did we pay that bill? Paid the bill yesterday, Mom. I sent you a printout. You'll get it in the mail. Okay. Then later in the day, did we pay that bill? I mean, I'm not angry at her anymore. It's just, she's 98, for God's sake. It's okay. If she's going to call me, it's all right, So I've just come to learn to accept this is just where I'm at. This is what I do. I try my best. And I just found out that I have a change in my schedule. I didn't know I was going to see my mom probably next week, and I just found out, oh, okay, how do I do that? It's just what I have to do. And somehow I try to fit the rest of everything I do in with that, because I'm still a wife. I have my kids that may come over, and my grandson comes over on Wednesday. What else goes on, I got to start planning for a relics exhibit, even though it's in February. I got to start thinking about that. I don't want to lose track of my responsibilities that I said I would do for the temple. Those things are important to me, and I accept that responsibility. But somehow it all has to work, and I'm grateful. I have my cultivation that helps me to keep going, because it's important to me. So, and I think back at the time when I first started, I was getting sued in court I had no kung fu. I had to start learning how to meditate. I had 3 years of being in court over my someone suing me in a lawsuit. That seemed pretty hairy. I wouldn't have been able to handle it if I hadn't started meditating. You know, and Master said, you know, you don't have any inner strength. You better learn how to meditate so you can get through this. And that was really difficult. And people in the field that I was in at the time, they said to me, we've never seen anyone have to go through what you're going through. This is the worst we've ever seen a professional in our field have to go through something this horrific. And, you know, it didn't help that they said it. I mean, it's just, okay, so how do I do it? And thank God, I met Master, and I said, okay, I got to give this a try. I need something here. And I've continued, so I'm really grateful for that. And life just keeps piling it on, you know. It's okay, you know. I don't have any choice, right?
Yeah.
But at least I have my cultivation to lean on to help me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. So at least now we see that we continue to endure, right? Without knowing that we are resolve our karma or not, we don't know. But that it's beneficial for ourselves. And then maybe when we can experience the non-production, and then some kind of wisdom come up, and then we see that our karma resolve already or not, we don't know. Hopefully at that time, or after that time. So there one more case, so that someone is looking for our help, asking for help. So because so what should we do then? Because if we try to avoid it, we try to avoid the feeling of being pressured, so that then we don't help. We just ignore. We just, oh, this not me. We have the strength to just ignore it, and then we don't help. And then maybe eventually the peace will come to the mind, but then that beings doesn't get help, right? Yes, number 2. Yes.
You know, Master, so some of the things, I have spoke to you about certain things that sometimes comes out, but and sometimes with other venerables, or even with Master Yongwa. And some of the things I have noticed that because there is really nothing that I can do, or the events that they're going through, like for example, a friend going through cancer, like I couldn't help her. I try, and I was getting myself into big trouble, and you know about that, you're aware of that. And so at that time is like, okay, I can actually get a plaque for her. I can, things like that. I usually have handed over to the temple. There is sometimes that Master has suggested that we can transfer, like we can come and cultivate and just transfer it all for a specific, for someone in a specific. So I have done that, those 2 things. Either like I just get a plaque, or I do the transfer. But one of the things that I have been, I'm still in the process, is not to meddle, because I know sometimes they come and ask for the help. Unfortunately, I don't think I am at that level in some cases to actually help them. Sometimes, if it's a being that it just comes, then sometimes I say they can just come over and listen. I invite them to come to the temple. Sometimes when I am at home, it's okay, you can listen while I recite. So those are the things that I've sorted out too. I do not know if it gets resolved, but I know most of the time they feel okay with those kind of things. Like it's kind of like they come to an understanding. That's the most that I can do. And I should say I appreciate that. I'm thankful that they understand that that's how much I can actually help. If I could do more. And I guess that's the other reason I continue cultivating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I agree that because when I ask the question, it doesn't mean we are able to solve that kind of problem. It doesn't mean, it's just for us to have something that we can bring it forwards. We don't get stuck on that scale, or at least we recognize that they need help, but we don't have the ability to help, and then that kind of motivation for us to practice more. Yeah, but we actually, after we know Master, and then, as you said before, like we just bring it to the temple and let Master deal with that. We sometimes feel, actually from the beginning, I feel really guilty about that. But I have no other choices. As you said, I even worry that I'm not sure Master is okay after what that. And then I think Master, then he can, I think he read my mind. And then he said, okay. Recently, I worry that affect his physical health. So I worry. I'm not sure it's much okay to Master. And then Master, recently I ran for 5 miles, so I'm perfectly okay. So okay, I feel calm. So that's all we can do right now with our wisdom. Yeah, but at least we know that there are some people, they really need help. It's not just come to collect payments, but they actually need help, and then we are not able to help, but at least we know where to go, and we have the motivation to continue to practice. Like we just don't like always to ignore or run away. And hopefully someday we're strong enough to directly look at those kind of suffering and pain. Anything else? Anyone? Yeah, number 7, please.
Master, I want to ask that cut off the emotions. Sometimes we need to cut off the emotions, or sometimes not. And in Buddhism, I heard before that we need to not get afflicted with the emotions or to put down our emotions. And I'm not sure about the difference.
The difference between what?
Between
cut off
emotions or put down emotions.
Cut off, that means it can be 2 ways. The way is you already deal with that emotion. That means you're not bothered by it anymore. That means to me, that is cut off. That means that, okay, I'm already done with that kind of emotion. I resolve it. The Well, the thing is we ignore it or we suppress it. But it's still there. Eventually we have to, it's come up to us again, and we have to deal with that. So that's two different things. The thing is that you only resolve it because you have the solution for that. So you're not bothered, you're not afflicted by that emotion anymore. It's still rising up in ourselves, but then we know how to deal with it. And the other one is we put off. That means we don't know what to do with it. It's overwhelming. But then we know that if we go to let it affect us, and then it cause problem too. So that's why we just don't deal with it for now, for a moment. But then we will have a chance when we're strong enough, and then we have more opportunity to resolve, because that's the seed of the reincarnation. We have to eventually work on it to resolve it. I'm not sure that answered your question.
Yes, and so cut off emotions does not mean that we do not have emotions.
I don't know. It's like we don't have the emotion. I haven't reached that part that yet. But then there's some kind of positive and some negative emotion, right? But then we need to see what is good for us to continue our practice or continue our life. But like we said before, to a point we practice, then we reach the non-production of the thoughts. So then at that time is no emotion either. But then it's not, to me, it's not like you suppress all kind of emotion. It's not the same. Yeah, but here when you endure it, you accept it. You accept the pain, you endure the pain, and to one point, and then the mind is just shut down. You don't feel like you are suppressed at that time. It's two different things. You suppress emotion, is still, the pain is still there. It doesn't get resolved. But when you endure, you go through all of those pain. It doesn't answer your question.
No, I'm just a little confused because I know sometimes that if I don't dare to feel some of my emotions, I might suppress or ignore with or without.
Yeah, it's necessary. Sometimes in our practice, we have to do that because we don't have the strength to directly face it. But then, if we continue to practice, and then our strength will develop, our patience will get stronger, and then when we're strong enough, and when we have time to look back at those kind of emotions, and then we know how to resolve it. But from the beginning, you cannot resolve them all. We have to accept our temporary condition, to ignore or suppress them. But this cannot be long term, because it will come back to you.
Yeah, you mean that if we know how to resolve it, then we can cut it off.
Actually, when you have wisdom, and then you're no longer affected by that. So that means, we can use the different words, cut off or resolve at all. It just the works. But then when you have wisdom, and then you're not afraid of that emotion anymore. You know what to do with it. But then your strength is not enough, and then you still run away from it. But that's a reality of our practice from the beginning. We don't have the strength to look at them directly from the beginning. But as I said, it's temporary. You can ignore it, but then it will come back to you. And if you can continue to ignore that, to develop your own strength, and then do that, but then eventually you have to face it again. Yeah. Anyone else? Okay, number 5, please.
Thank you, Master Z. I was just listening to the question, and maybe emotion comes to me as like a huge hunk of broccoli, or like a really big carrot stick, and I'm like, man, that's like a big carrot stick, and that's a lot of broccoli. But then, if you find a way and you can cut it up into like little broccolis, and like you can slice up the carrot into like little circle carrots, and then I don't know if you like ranch or not, but you could have ranch dressing, and then you could put it into like a salad. It's not as intimidating as like that big head of broccoli. Maybe you want to steam the broccoli. I recommend steaming broccoli. I find that really delicious. So, but it takes time to prepare it.
Yes.
So maybe in the meantime, I'm really keying in on the cut it off part. And so like maybe you're slicing the emotions down into a little bit nicer pieces that go into like an emotion salad. I don't know why I felt like sharing that.
I see.
I thought that might help.
I didn't put. I would not make it a salad, but I will boil it to make it softer. Just kidding. Yeah, I think you continue to practice, and you develop more strength, and then you have strong enough, and then you can look at it directly. Yeah, but maybe not now. Let Peter deal with a big piece of broccoli. Yeah. Okay, if without anything else, we can stop here, and please have lunch. Thank you. We will have the GCR at 12:30 today. Thank you, everyone. Emitofuo.